Hasta la vista, baby.
Welcome to Movies in the Man Cave Special Edition. We got a guest host with us. Jake is back. Third time on the show?
Third time's a charm. We got everything running like it should be, I think.
He's had enough rehearsals. He's loosened up the tongue. He's ready to go.
And he has arms this time.
I have arms this time.
Hey, yeah. No
Fully
green
functional.
shirts. Yes. He came prepared. Under his suggestion, we're doing some of our most overrated films because we don't get enough hate mail on the show.
Yes.
We figured, you know, too many of you love us. How can we torque you off a little bit and just get more of a reaction? So, we're going to go through some overrated, not really a top 5, just kind of bounce them around a little bit. Yep. This is a no critical zone, guys. If I love a movie and you happen to not like it, I won't be offended. No, I might be offended, but that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
This is an offensive show.
Yes. And before I forget, if you think ours are offensive, go online, search most overrated movies. You will find some people that have some they're very opinionated on very amazing movies.
Yeah.
And then the comments on them are even more hateful towards the people that are writing it, and it's actually very entertaining.
So we might get hateful comments as well.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Sweet. Kind of the way I did is I went to IMDb. They have a top 250 of the top rated movies on there by users, and I just kind of pick and chose some of them because obviously those are rated high.
Yes.
And I said, well, I don't like that. I don't care for that. So
yeah, and those are rated by users. So
right.
I mean, other people like them.
Your show idea. You start by pissing
off.
people off.
All right. My first one is, I haven't seen it all the way through. I'm thinking about giving it another chance someday. Scarface. Haven't seen the whole thing, just haven't ever gotten into it. It just...
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I have to agree. Like I think
this is a terrible movie panel. I don't even get on the internet.
I have no interest in seeing it at all, really. Like, you know, all the celebs on Cribs say, oh, of course you have to have Scarface. I don't have to have anything. I'm not interested in it at all, you know. Like, sure, it has the one line that say, hello to my little friend.
Yeah.
Cool, he shoots
and
a
a
guy.
huge gun. But
I mean, I lived the cocaine dealing lifestyle for so long, and I'm finally out. I don't want the movie to draw me back in.
No, and that's what happens. That is what happens.
Right.
That's probably what it is. So I can't say overrated or not. I'm going to pick one off. My wife and I watched this a couple weeks ago. Trainspotting. It's another drug film.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor. And it just gets all these raves. And it's Danny Boyle who did Sunshine, which we love so much, and 28 Days Later. So I'm like, gets all these good reviews. It's Danny Boyle. Boy, it's just, I don't know if it accurately depicts what it's like coming off of drugs.
It must.
But it's crazy and messed up. And then it's just... bad things happening and to people you kind of like, and it's just like, no, I didn't like it. It's just too weird.
Yeah.
It's just too weird.
I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, you need to see Trainspotting. It's like, you know, up there with some of those other, not so much indie films, but those, something like maybe a Boondock Saints or something, kind of like...
Yeah, it's got a very similar feel, although I love Boondocks.
Oh, me too. Yeah. But I've never gotten into it because it's just, it doesn't seem like, it never caught my attention enough.
Yeah, wasn't big. Have you seen it?
Trainspotting?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. It's just weird. Rolling with Boondock Saints. I have Boondock Saints 2 on mine, just because Boondock Saints, the first one, is one of my favorite movies. And so, for me, it was like overrated for myself. You know, when it was coming out, I was like, oh, they're finally making the sequel. Here it comes, whatever. And then it's on Netflix, and I'm like, yes! And I watched it, and I was like, this is not good.
Overhyped.
Did you say you didn't even finish it?
I didn't even finish it. Like, I couldn't get myself to finish it. Because it was like, yeah, I know in the first one they swore every other word, but it felt more natural. This one, it's like, oh, there's a female cop, and oh, she says F a lot, and oh, she's making dick jokes, and what, you know, it's like,
like they had to put the swearing in.
Right, they had to do it. It felt really forced. All of it felt forced for me, and I just, like, I couldn't even watch it because I felt it was going to ruin the other one. And so, like, that's mine.
I disagree. I like the second one. I like the new character, the Mexican fighter that they brought in. I thought he was hilarious. I don't remember his name right now. I didn't like the lady cop so much. She's obviously no Willem Dafoe because he was one of the central characters in the first one.
He was a
But, good point. Was it Billy Connolly?
Mm-hmm.
I just love him. He gets a little bit bigger role in this second one. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
I liked at the beginning where they were off in the country.
As soon as they're shaving off their beards, I just knew I'm gonna love this movie, and then I did. I liked it a lot.
It went downhill for me.
I couldn't take the little Mexican dude seriously because he's from Extract.
Yeah. I've seen
and
bits and pieces of that movie,
and that's actually pretty funny.
That was a pretty good movie. Yeah.
Let's see. With another one, we'll go with. I just recently watched this with my wife. It was up for an Academy Award for Best Comedy, I think, is Bridesmaids.
I've heard bad things.
Yeah, I haven't even bothered.
We laughed so hard at so many parts, but it is one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen.
Really?
We were just like...
Well, don't spoil it for me. I didn't figure it was a depressing movie.
But that's the thing, is there's parts that make you laugh uncontrollably, and just like shock value laugh, slapstick, laugh. But then there's some parts that are just kind of like, I don't know if it's because they're all women. I grew up with women not being so vulgar. Right. And so they do a lot of vulgar jokes. And some of it's funny. Some of it's kind of like, maybe you don't mention that kind of stuff around.
Nobody wants to see that. Huh?
But it's worth seeing because it is extremely funny. And it's one of the first movies where it's an all-female cast. And they do a pretty good job. There's parts that are kind of like, maybe less depressing, but it is worth seeing.
I haven't seen it yet. I had too many on my list we're going to be able to get to in here, so I want to go with, I'll say Natural Born Killers.
It's been a long time
Woody
since I've
Harrelson
seen that
and the other chick.
Yeah, the other chick.
It's, I see what it's doing. It's playing into America's bloodthirst, and it was kind of like playing into reality TV before it existed, just like America was so fascinated with this Bonnie and Clyde going around killing people. But again, it's just one that just gets taken to these weird places. Like, I forget, they're out in the car and then all of a sudden they're like, the stars in space.
That's
and
what I
I'm
remember.
like,
It was kind of trippy, but they had like weird flashbacks or flash forwards or flashes.
The only part that I really liked about that movie was the Rodney Dangerfield bit.
I don't remember.
Where it shows like her like in her family setting like back in the day.
Okay.
And Rodney Dangerfield is her dad. He plays like a very depraved, scary role, which is very anti-Dangerfield.
Yeah.
But other than that, did not like that movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, and I keep getting that one messed up with The Usual Suspects.
Oh, interesting. They're not alike at all.
No, but then I just, for some reason, Natural Born Usual
Yeah.
Suspects.
I think the covers are similar.
Yeah.
I think that might be what
They're
it
both
is.
standing there and...
Let's see, which one do I want to go with? I guess the one that's probably more overrated commonly is Gladiator. And
Ooh, I love Gladiator!
see, I didn't really care for it, and I think I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and like, yeah, it's just, I don't know.
And see,
It's something about
I
Joaquin.
love that movie.
I'm a huge Russell Crowe. I'm not a Joaquin Phoenix fan. I don't like Joaquin
I didn't
Phoenix.
really dig
Russell
his
Crowe,
role.
though, since that movie, I love Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
And that was
No,
like the
I like
epitome of
Russell
his
Crowe,
career.
like-
Like, that's his best movie. And the fight scenes are like nothing you'd ever seen before. Like,
Are you not entertained? That's one of my favorite lines.
Apparently Jared was not.
I was not entertained, so.
Oh, I thought that one was so good. It's a little bit longer than it needs to be. It has some slow moments, but overall, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
So I have to disagree.
But that is the point of this.
That's
this
the
episode,
point.
Yeah. I have some ones that you guys will.
I got a quick one, and I got 2 more, but a quick one is Lost in Translation with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson's first role, like major role, I think. All I remember from the cover is 4 stars, one of the best movies ever.
They do that all the time with indie films.
Yeah, I watched it, and me and my buddy were just like, I couldn't even tell you what it's about right now.
Was it a long time ago? See, I watched it many years ago, and it just went in with the wrong mindset. You go in thinking Bill Murray,
hilarious,
and what you're getting is not classic Bill Murray.
No.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the newer Bill Murray that he does now.
Yeah.
I had that feeling the first time I watched it. I rewatched it, and I liked it a little bit more.
Okay.
I think it's worth seeing again.
Okay. Kind of as more of a film versus a movie.
Yeah, and just some of the very subtle stuff he's doing, like when he's actually at the ad shooting for the whiskey or whatever, just a little bit of very sly things that he's doing. You see just the bits of that trademark Bill Murray that's really entertaining.
It's like Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler. I saw the previews for it and I was like, oh, that looks funny and entertaining, and it was kind of indie film, slightly on the depressing side, but when you take out it's Adam Sandler, don't expect Adam Sandler, then it's a really cool movie, a really cool concept and all this stuff. So
that's almost another topic for a show is going into a movie expecting one thing
Yeah.
and getting an entire, and being
That happens a lot.
disappointed.
That happens a
Yeah.
lot.
Flippy flop.
Yeah.
Next one I want to mention, I don't know if you guys have seen it, it's Old Boy. It's
haven't.
Japanese, I believe. And it's in the top 250, and it was always said to be this amazing movie and everything. There's this scene in this hallway where there's like 50 bad guys, and our good guy has a hammer. And he takes them like all out, and it's one continuous shot. Like they've built it so the camera pans along this hallway as he's going through tearing up these guys. One of the most amazing action scenes you ever see. The rest of the movie sucks.
Just look that scene up.
It's
on YouTube
just like,
well.
oh yeah, watch it on YouTube, and that's all. It's just they're remaking it for America, and I don't know exactly how they'll do, but and I don't want to spoil anything. It just gets really gross and weird. It's a big revenge story, and you don't really find it out to the end and the lengths that they've gone to, and it's disgusting. And I'm like, this is not real at all. Nobody would go to these lengths for this petty revenge, and you just leave and you're like, nah, no, bad taste.
That reminds me, we reviewed Drive, and that's how I felt with Drive. It's just kind of just like, really, would this happen? And like, it's just, that one should be on this list. I don't have it written down, but Drive was overrated for me because you hear so many things about it. And
That's one of those I hear a lot of, or...
yeah, I
things.
have a friend that really enjoyed it, and it's just like, I didn't. So, but well, what do you do? I guess the end of my list, really, the other one's a joke. This is ridiculous. Most of the National Lampoon things since, I would say, Vegas Vacation. Like,
give me an example.
Like Van Wilder.
Love Van Wilder!
I read it on the sheet just now, and I was like, oh, I was going to say it.
I dislike Van Wilder. And I don't hate it. I just think it's overrated.
I'm a Ryan Reynolds fan.
Me too.
And I just watched it at that right age, mid-high school years, where it's just like, boobs! Oh, they did the thing with the dog. That's hilarious. Like, if I saw it now, I probably wouldn't enjoy it to the same level, but...
It does happen. I watched it on TV one time, and it's like, Ryan Reynolds was great, because I love his, his quick wit speaking, but he's kind of like I think of him as the white Eddie Murphy. Just kind of that fast-talking, quick wit.
But I think when I'm watching it, I was like, oh, he's kind of a douche. That's kind of how I watch it.
I can see that,
like,
Yeah, but have you ever thought that watching Ferris Bueller? Because it's the exact same premise. If you go back and watch Ferris Bueller thinking about what the crap this kid pulls, he's a total a-hole. So,
maybe it must be Matthew Broderick.
I was going to say Matthew Broderick's a much more likable person. So.
But see, and I think for the overrated thing with the National Lampoons, they have National Lampoons this, that, and the other.
Everything comes
and
out.
like but it seems like all these a college crowd and everyone's like, oh, they're so awesome.
Wasn't Naked Mile the American Pie series?
It was one of the two.
Is it still? Is that someone?
Naked Mile was American Pie. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah,
they did the same thing. American Pie Presents.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
I thought it was National Lampoon.
But Vegas
It's
Vacation.
Vegas
Vacation. I could watch over and over. I have watched over and over. TBS always does does that over.
Vacation.
Christmas Vacation and Vacation. Those are great. So.
All right. So my last one that I'd even written down was the one that I figured these fans will probably take revenge, like physically, but the two Kill Bill movies.
Agreed.
I knew.
Disagreed.
I knew he was going to disagree on. And for one, I don't like Quentin Tarantino. I think he thinks he's better than he is, personally.
He's got an ego, no doubt about that.
He's got some visions. He likes his style of movie. I just think he takes himself too seriously. He thinks he's better than he is. I mean, he's got talent. I'm not saying I could do what any of these directors do, let alone him, the stuff that they got in their heads. But the Kill Bill movies, yes, they're very entertaining. The action scenes are cool, but I think the overall length and story of it all is just kind of weird, and it takes itself too seriously for how much it actually makes fun of certain things. Yeah. But it is entertaining. I don't know.
I'm a Tarantino fan usually. I have to disagree with you there, but as far as these movies go, especially the second one, I thought the first one was a little bit better than the second one, but I wanted to give him another chance, so I picked him up at the pawn shop, and I watched him again, and I said, no, this is not doing anything for me.
I think if they were done in one movie, the whole story in one movie, it maybe would have been
a little bit different,
more well received, but, I don't know.
Alright, I'm going to give you some quick hits for hate mail, guys. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. super boring.
It was really long.
It's like 3 hours, and I just felt.
I've never seen it.
It has good scenes, but just through miles and miles and miles of nothingness.
And like the last 15 minutes is like a standoff, and it's just silence.
I could close my eyes right now and draw Clint Eastwood's eyes for you, because that's all you see for like 10 minutes straight. And I know.
But the music, the Ecstasy of Gold, that's the amazing song.
Blade Runner. I didn't see that till I was an adult, and it's trying to go this whole poetic tears in the rain, blah blah blah. Is he a robot? Is he not a robot? And I'm just like, no, this is, again, it's really boring. It's very 80s cheesy.
Did you see the version with the voiceover, like Harrison Ford?
I don't remember. I heard there's different versions. The director's cut is
much better than it doesn't have that, which I think would add the cheese. So
and that's what I've heard is the director's cut's much better.
Last one I'm gonna throw out there. Never Ending Story. Loved it as a kid. Found it. Watched it again.
I think I'd have to watch
it again. Did not hold up.
Yeah.
Boy, was I sent I was like,
oh.
That's the one I watched when I was a kid. So that's the one I loved. And I got the DVD that was the dual pack.
Yeah.
And I watched the first one and I'm like, oh, the second one must have been a lot better. And then I watched the second one and I'm like, nope. I was an idiot child because I enjoyed this. So.
Funny. Yeah, that part's weird.
Alright, so that's our overrated movies. Bring it on! That's all I can say. It's coming, so
people are gonna be angry.
Bring it on. Moving on to the quote from last week. We had 3 winners. We had James answered it on Area Voices. My man Jake right here got it out on Facebook. And Cocoa Buds 13 was our YouTube winner. Let's take a look at the clip.
Betray us, and I will phone you until your insides are out. Your outsides are in. Your entrails will become your extrails. I will all the pain. Lots of pain.
Not an overrated movie for me. I like that one a lot. Always have.
I prefer my X-Trails
to the end.
Yes.
That is Alan Tudyk in A Knight's Tale. We use that because Alan Tudyk was also in Serenity, which we reviewed last week, directed by Joss Whedon. I bring it up because, has anybody ever told you look just like Joss Whedon?
Really?
It's probably just the red beard and the shaved head, but like, I'm going to put a picture right here, and I swear, you look a heck of a lot like Joss Whedon.
Yeah. And see, the only person I got in my head right now is Christopher Nolan, because he's kind of an interesting looking man, but I have to go back to look at what Joss Whedon looks like, because I watched...
see it, right here.
Yeah. Look. No. It's pretty good.
Anyway. Quote for this week. Did you write it down, or did I gotta do it from memory?
I didn't write it down.
Alright, here we go. You're 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing, and you've got hardly a speck of athletic ability.
Oh snap!
That's a put down.
Yeah.
That's harsh, so. Yeah. If you know what movie that is, go ahead and put it in the comments. We'll get your name on here next week. You, sir, not eligible because you were on the episode.
That's okay.
So, give somebody else a chance out there on Facebook. You're always the one to get it out there. Somebody else jump in there. Movies coming out this week. I saw nothing worthwhile. We're in that dead zone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And like the spotlight selections keep coming out for Marcus.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to see any of those.
Yeah. See the Avengers one more time. I saw that commercial yesterday. See the Avengers one more time in the theaters before whatever. So, all right, that's it. Jake, thanks for being here again.
Thank you.
Overrated movies. Let us know what you think. Kind of look like you're gonna do the Mario thing.